Hello, everybody. How's it going? Um, we just gotta come up and share something. Then we'll get started. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Jax.
We just want to take a moment of silence to give our prayers and um thoughts to those we've lost through this pandemic and those that are still suffering through it. So we just want to take a few seconds to remember our friend there.
You said traveling buddy. Rest in
Go
peace,
to them.
traveling buddy. So how's everybody going? Um, yeah. Okay, I had to turn on my YouTube. So. Anyway, this is my co-host Jax, and this is Jason. Jason's journey. Jason Jennings, Paranormal. We're gonna interview him, and thank you for being here to join me on his journey. Um, so how's he doing? Hensley, Lori, Wolf, how's it going? Well, Wolf and Hound. Um, what's up, Jax? You know you're always welcome here. Christina, how's it going? Um, and everybody else here that I missed. What's up, Peppermint Pat, Peppermint Patty? Hey Sam, how's it going? Anna Maria, good to see you. Three Souls Paranormal, welcome. Um, so kind of let's see, okay, and the Asian Sasquatch, what's up? Oh, you're welcome, Jax. I'm glad you're here,
Anytime,
man.
Jax. You know we're here.
Exactly.
Anytime, Jax. It doesn't matter. Sometimes me and Eli just we wonder about you and we're going to ask about you and we still talk about you. You're still our family, no matter what.
We will interview with you next year. Okay. All right, good. Cool. The results. Let me know. Um, all right. I hope your friend gets better and your wife and you and everything. Just stay positive and you guys will get there. I'm praying for yours too. So, Jason, can you tell us a little bit about your channel?
Yeah, sure. My internet for some reason is acting kind of sketchy right now, so I'm going to be looking at my phone and then also looking at my tablet.
Okay.
So if you see me going back and forth, that's why.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so my channel, man, God, I can't believe it's been about 3 years already. I started about 3 years ago, and what it was is I was just kind of, I don't know, I was just needing something different from life, and I stumbled on a bunch of the paranormal YouTubers like Mosarji, oh my gosh, all that. And I really started taking a liking to Mosarji because that was right when he started doing his Tom's House videos. And I just thought that that was so interesting,
I
instead
miss
of being
those
a couch.
videos.
I
I
do
miss
too.
the
I
Tom
miss those
videos.
videos.
Oh, my boy!
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this, but I've been watching Mo for a while. Allie wasn't actually the first person that he took to Tom's house. It was on J Station. Him and J
Yes, it was
Station
J
went there
Station.
first.
You're right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. But basically, just long story short, I was needing fulfillment. I lost that joy for life, and it's kind of freaking me out. And then I was like, you know what? It doesn't take nothing but $10. Put that in my gas tank. Go find an abandoned spot. Put a camera on my face, and just say, hello world, what's going on? So that's how
So
it
okay, so
started, and where I'm at now is crazy.
It has
um,
been almost 3 years. I just realized that because we all met each other on the same time when you
Yep.
first started. And then when I met Eli and Jax and somebody else in a live stream doing a live, and then it flies. Time flies.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
So is it because of them that's what got you into the paranormal, or did you have a personal experience that got you in it?
So that personal experience is what drew me into it. So, like I said, I'll try not to go down too many rabbit holes. I've always had the ability to sense things. I can sense all frequencies around me. I was a very low level empath, and now it's getting to the point that I can like look at people, see their energy, read their intentions. I mean, I'm getting about this close to being able to read people's minds. It's been crazy. I've been spending a lot of time praying, doing a lot of meditation, and a lot of that stuff, it would just happen on its own. But now, because of meditation, because of praying, I got it on demand. I can call it right then and there. So that's been interesting. So that's something I've been choosing to do lately. So to answer your question more pointedly, I felt very uncomfortable with the paranormal. I had paranormal experiences, and when I was young, when I was a kid, it was still kind of taboo because, you know, the X-Files just came out. You know, it wasn't mainstream. People weren't talking about it. People were just like, oh, that's witchcraft. You know, don't talk about that. And but my grandmother was super spiritual. And so I kept on asking questions, and my parents were kind of freaking out. And they're just like, you know, maybe you should go talk to your grandmother about this. And so I kept on feeling more presences. I kept on feeling, basically, I was like a big recepting dish. For some reason, there was something about my frequency that other frequencies would draw towards me, be it good, negative, indifferent. It didn't matter. I found myself constantly collecting energy and seeing things and feeling things that I couldn't explain. So my grandmother could tell that as a kid, I was super freaked out. And she's like, you know, Jason, just ignore it. Just don't think about it. Don't give any power to it, because when you do, that's when it gets power. Come to find out, that was some of the best advice she ever gave me. So when I started doing this and I found those other YouTubers, I knew that there was something to it. And the way I would explain it is, I'm not the fire starter. I'm not going to start the fire. I'm not the fireman. I'm not going to put the fire out. But I will be the guy with the camera saying, look, there's a fire. But you can't do that. You can't reach out and touch voodoo. You can't reach out and touch magic. You can't reach out and touch the paranormal without it touching you back. So pardon my language, I'll try to keep it family friendly, but I fucked around and I found out, you know, it started off as a hobby to just explore these places, and then all of a sudden stuff was coming home with me. So like even right now, I got a crystal over there. It's a lamp. I got white sage that I burn. It got pretty quick. Sorry for the long answer.
No, you're good. You're good. What's the first location you ever investigated?
Ooh, oh wow. I used to live in this old trailer park outside of town, and I caught some weird juju there. So the there, but basically that was beta testing. I had no idea what I was doing. So I would say the first actual location, and this was when I was just making short films. I wasn't really doing any real paranormal investigating. I was just making short films about being chased around in a haunted house with a guy with a knife trying to kill me. And funny enough, that's actually still this one of my most high videos, and that was one of the first ones. And the family that lived there were called the Turners. Well, if you go back and watch some of those videos, I'm going through there.
You sound like a robot.
Yeah, something crazy for there.
Hey, Jason, you sound like a robot. You sounded like a robot. Sorry. Yeah.
Do I sound better now?
Yeah,
okay, so I also have allergies that might have something to do with it. But so the Turner house, so my friend told me, he's like, you know, Jason, this is like legit haunted. I'm just like, oh, you know, whatever. I got all this creepy stuff going on in my mind. Let's make these short films. He's like, all right, I mean, that's cool, bro. He's like, but I'm just letting you know, like, when you leave this place, you need to say a prayer or something. I was just like, oh, whatever. Well, I had to go out the car to forget something, and that's not something on me. So you went to the house, there was a living room, an office, a kitchen, other living room / dining room, and then you could go downstairs to a finished basement, and there was a back room. I physically tried. It was like sleep paralysis, but I was awake. I physically tried to step forward to see what that presence was, and I couldn't move. I totally froze. He came back, and I just kind of snapped out of it. And then I'm like, hey, bro, let's go ahead and film and let's get out of here. So the Turner house was definitely.
It's him. Got kicked off. He'll come back in
And
a
then
minute.
there were two.
Oh my god! There you go. Here we go. He comes back. It's okay. It
He's
happens.
pulling
Funny.
He's pulling a jacks. Y'all, he is
Yep, he's
pulling
pulling.
it back. He's disappearing and coming back. What you're doing now, Jason, we call pulling a jacks. See, I would drop off, come
okay.
back up, drop, come back up. I'm drinking a bang.
It's acting weird right now.
No, you're good. Go ahead and finish with your story.
Okay, so basically, long story short, that video, and you actually commented on it, where the dude was chasing me around. I don't know, for some reason, I just wanted to go back and watch the video. Something felt off about it. So I went back and I actually time-stamped it. You guys can go and watch this. It was called Be Mad and Killer. And you can hear a moment. This was terrifying. I believe it. I was sitting there, I was watching my video, and I heard three distinct phrases. There was an armor. It was distinct phrases. I went back and I listened to it and time-stamped
Yeah, your
it.
computer.
That was
You're
basically when I knew that.
talking like a robot again. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're only to do. Can we refresh it or something?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Try to see what options I have
It could
here. I
just
don't know
be-
if
it should-
can you rear end? It could be YouTube. Let's see if that helps. Maybe it's speaking, moving around so much that it weirds it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if you want, you could turn off your computer and turn it back on, or laptop, or whatever you're working with.
And then what do I do? Do I just come back into the stream and then
I got you a link.
click the link?
Yeah, go ahead and click the link in your Twitter, and then we can
Oh,
just
cool.
check
Make that, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I, for one, people are just thankful that it's not my computer dropping off now.
It's always
I'm
her
good.
fault.
I did what? Oh, because I hexed his computer.
Yep.
Don't make me
It's my
flip you
fault.
off double birds.
Yeah, man, I'm not telling you, man. Like, I'm not on myself today either because vision's just like messing with me. Just kind of just fogging one
Oh,
side.
thank you, my sis. I love you.
Oh, sorry,
I
guys.
just took my hair out of a ponytail. Eli told me what time it was. I said, "Oh shit!" So I'm like, put the little makeup on, and I was done in 15 minutes. He was like, "Let's go." He was rushing me. I said, "You can't rush this shit, bro." He was rushing me. He
Exactly.
always rushes me. We were just sitting there like we had nothing to do, Eli. We were just sitting there on Nerdy McDurney like we had nothing to do.
Yeah. I mean, if his internet isn't working right, we'll do this another day or something. You know, we'll try it one more time, and then we'll just reschedule.
Wonder where he lives at.
I have no idea. They're
Because
asking.
the weather's bad everywhere.
Yeah.
Patty, I took my my Ethernet cord, the yellow one, and I hardlined it into my laptop. I know, Lori, it's not me this time. Thank you. I dropped off one time the other day. That's because I hit the back button on accident. But see, not gonna catch me with my mouth open anymore, frozen. Like Eli loves those. Eli loves those.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, that's just what we're gonna do. What happens like that? Yeah.
You don't tell me what I'm gonna do, Mister. I'll tell you what you're doing. Shit.
Yeah, we have storms in Tennessee. Over here too, man. I mean, I don't want it to
It's not
freeze like
cold
last
there.
time.
Is it cold there right now?
No, it's gonna get cold soon.
Bro. Okay, people. All right, hold on. Okay, I live in Arizona. Yo, Sam, my guy. I live in Arizona, but I live in the mountains, okay?
Mhm.
So tonight here will be 28 degrees. Right now it's 42. It's going to drop in the next 5 hours to 28. That's cold. That's pipe freezing cold. Thank God Jason lined the pipes real good. Telling you, Sam, me and you simpatico. We got the bang, we got the vape. Telling you. It is,
Right.
you know what? I know Eli forgives me for my shoddy internet, but I didn't even know what happened was I was on my phone and I kept dropping, and my sister goes, "Hey, I have a laptop under the bed." Eli's like, "Well, what the hell are you doing? Go get it." But I had to put everything on it because the person who had it before wiped it clean.
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
He's back. Yes.
There you go. Are we ready?
I'm ready, Freddie.
I'm just waiting for Jason. Do you hear us? Jason, do you hear us?
I can see him. Like he's moving right. He's not glitchy.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay, cool. Now, we're just going in with the questions. Let's see. How do you choose your locations to investigate? How do you choose your locations to investigate? I don't know if you hear us or not. Jason. Hey, Jason. Jason. Jason.
Don't make me laugh. Eli, stop.
Can you hear us, Jason? Jason, can you hear us?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. How do you choose your locations to investigate?
Oh my
Um, you all right, Jax?
No, dude. Shut up, dude. Just
god. Wait. Eli's like, Jason. Like, Jason, can you hear us, Jason? Jason.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm good.
Okay, so locations. Usually I'll ask around. So the interesting thing, I live in Amarillo, Texas, and you can Google this. For some reason, Amarillo is actually the 10th most haunted city in Texas, and I feel that has to deal with the military base, the agriculture, cowboys and Indians. It was just a rough area to live in. Whenever they were first settling this area, so there's a lot of local lore, and really all you can do is just ask some friends. One of the best places I ever went to was Billy's house. And the funny thing is years ago, I would drive past that house every day on my way to work, but it was before I was into the paranormal. Well, anyways, I was working and I had a friend of mine, they all called me spooky. They're like, "Oh, you're that ghost hunter dude." They're like, "Hey man, you should check out this place called Billy's house." So either just driving by, scouting a location, or I'll go off of stories, or I'll just do a little bit of research. Like right now, I'm at the point, most of my locations here have been destroyed, so now I'm gonna have to start traveling and doing it that way. But that's basically how I go about doing it.
Okay. I know there was a place that you went into, because of trailer home, and I seen one, and I think one of the wheelchairs flew at you a little bit or across the room, and then the door slammed.
Okay, so that one was a really crappy deal. There's a guy that had died in that house, and I think he was in there for a week before anyone even knew anything about it. So he got the house super duper cheap, and please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but there was somebody that lived in that house that was a grown up, and they're mentally handicapped. Well, there was a little bit of a debate whether they were handicapped or maybe they had a spiritual issue, maybe they were possessed. So that house had some really bad juju. So with sparing the details, after they went and got it all cleaned up and everything, that was the same deal. They're like, "Hey man, can you check this house out?" Like, we're too scared to go in there. We don't even want to go in there and get the possessions. We don't, we just want to leave everything in there the way that it is. And sure enough, I went in there. It was grotesque. There was a body stain on the floor. Bad juju. The room that the mentally unstable person, I guess we'll go with, stayed in, you could tell where they would put their hands in their pants and then smear crap on the wall. Like that place was wicked, bro. I did not like that place. And if you go back, there was a doll that was sitting on top of this shelf.
I saw the
So
doll.
I would be looking straight. Yeah, I would be looking straight this way. The camera would be facing that way, and the face was looking straight towards me. And then later on, I go walking towards the bathroom, and I turn around and I look, and in the view display of my camera, that doll's face was looking at me. So how could that doll's head go from looking straight at one wall to like this? That really freaked me out.
So
To this day, I've never gone back to that location.
Well, what's up with that
I know
wheelchair?
when you said rewind it and watch it again, I had to watch it like 3 times, but I did see the doll shift.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm telling you, it's
so. What about the wheelchair, dude? Like, did it freak you out when it crossed the room?
Well, that was unnatural, Eli. It was freaking me out.
That was.
well. Here's the deal. I'll be the first to debunk myself. The floors were slightly off. So whenever I stepped, like I could hear myself. So it could have been poltergeist, or it could have been just me stepping on a low spot and it made it shift. So I'll be the first one to say that, but I don't know. You're gonna have to go back and make your own decision.
But we got to think that thing went hard.
It did. Yeah, that wasn't. I mean, I watched it a few times. I was trying to do the whole debunking thing, but when it came out like with intent.
Yep. Speed.
Not like it didn't just like wheel out. It came out like it was like coming for you.
Yep.
And honestly,
all right, go ahead.
Thank you for traumatizing me. Thank you for bringing that memory back.
That's scary.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. I'll be here all night.
That freaked the shit out of me. I was just like, what the fuck?
No, I got PTSD over some of my videos. I'm not gonna lie. I think okay, so if we want to go the paranormal route, I would say that wheelchair probably belonged to that mentally unstable person, and that might have had something to do with it. It might have had something to do with the fact that I went into their room, and I guess I probably insulted it because I guess they had animals in the house, and they would let the animals defecate on top of the carpet, and then they would just step on it. They would never try to clean it up. And I just looked around and I saw the poop smears on the wall, and I'm just like, this is disgusting. How could anyone live? I said something kind of like that. Okay, go for it.
That radio, that was not plugged in.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you talking when I was out in the woods?
That wasn't plugged in.
Are you talking about
the one in the house was playing white static?
Yep.
Oh, in the trailer house. That I don't know. Yet again, I'm totally cool with debunking myself. So I've had this happen to me. So like I use Bluetooth, like even here in my apartment right now. One time I was just sitting here, I was vacuuming the living room, and somehow the Bluetooth to my tablet got kicked off of there, and all of a sudden pipe organ music started playing through it. That creeped me out. So my best guess is either A, that is paranormal, or B, someone might have been driving by, somebody might have walked on by, their Bluetooth might have, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't have all the answers, guys. Like I said, I'm not creating the fires, and I'm not pitting them out. I'm just sitting there with the camera saying, hey, look, there's a fire. So if I had to debunk it,
even if it was Bluetooth, that radio would have to be plugged in.
Yep.
You tell me, Jax, what's your opinion?
Hey, what's up?
My opinion is something freaky going on in that house. That's my opinion.
Okay.
But
Here's what.
It just doesn't turn on.
I got a question. When you went to that back room after that wheelchair came out violently, and when I know you probably moved it all the way or something, whatever. So you went to the back room. I swear that dresser was coming at you.
It did.
Dude, it was.
It went.
You were standing there.
Didn't it look like it was slowly nudging?
Yeah.
Dude, that thing was creepy. Because that's when I ended the video. I was just like, nope.
Someone slammed the door before you went in there.
I don't know what was going on. I don't know if somebody was messing with me. I don't know if they were trying to prank me, because they were like, oh, they kept on wanting me to go into the house. And I was wondering, I'm like, is this a setup? Like, I'm not going to lie. That thought went through my head. I'm like, are they going to mess with me? Are they trying to freak me out? Are they trying to do like a...
Hey, is that the same house that you heard this? Okay. The walking up the stairs or walking down the stairs, is that the same house? Or is that the barn?
No, that's Billy's house. Billy's house is wicked.
I heard.
Dude, I did. Oh.
Okay.
Well, also,
before The one with the wheelchair, the house. I'll say with the house with the wheelchair. What kind of vibes did you get from it? Like from instead of
I didn't like it.
fear,
I got a bad feeling when I watched it. I felt like
was it
Disturbed.
smells
bad feeling.
or no? You said yeah.
The
You
smells
said
were bad.
oh yeah.
The
Oh
smells
yeah.
were terrible.
You told me that. Yeah.
Uh,
Did you get any
the
scratches
just
from that place?
okay. The only time I want to say that something's physically overwhelmed me has been at the abandoned school, but also at Billy's house. So I'm gonna let y'all in, and y'all at home watching this, I'm gonna let you in on a little insider knowledge about being a YouTuber and going out to locations. The party doesn't stop when you turn the camera off. So you're sitting there, you're filming a video, asking questions, provoking spirits, provoking demons, and guess what? You're telling them, "Hey, perform, do this. Let's see what the show's all about." When you turn that camera off and you're there by yourself, and they know that camera's off, that's when they mess with you. That's when they really intimidate you. And I got like a hot flash, and I know this sounds a little bit gross, like I threw up, but it wasn't threw up. Like my mouth just started salivating, and it had that really salty flavor, and it was spit up like a baby spit up. I know that sounds disgusting. And I just had a salty taste in my mouth. My face got super warm, and I started getting a headache, and it felt like I had a toddler piggybacking on my back. I dipped out. I was gone. I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. And the worst part is my friend Eder, he always tells me, no, that's when you need to leave the camera rolling. That's when you need to press forward. I'm like, bro, at this point, it's a safety risk. Like, we're talking about my physical safety, my mental health, spirituality. I said, like, I get it. Some people do it not believing, but I already know this stuff exists. I'm not scared of the dark. I'm scared of the shit that hides in the dark. There's a big difference.
Wow. What's the first thing you like? Do you have a checklist of all your equipment you got before you into the property?
Usually I did when I first started, but now it's such muscle memory. Like I have my tripod. I have one camera that's kind of sketchy. I have this phone. I paid $1,000 for this phone, and it's a V30, so it has a really hot camera and a really hot mic. So sometimes I'll use that. I'll have my tablet as a backup, and I think in my next video I might actually use my tablet to do the necrophonics because I have my app on that. So I'll do that, but also I get really scared because when that happened at Billy's house, like you were saying, I was going through all my stuff, making sure I didn't drop anything, looking around, and I grabbed my tablet and I went to shove it in my backpack. And because I didn't need to use it, my camera was acting weird, so I thought I might have to use that as a backup. And when whatever that was that overwhelmed me, bro, I was so freaked out. I squeezed the tablet so hard, shoving it in there just so I could leave. When I got back to my apartment and looked, I put a crack down the screen. That's how badly I squeezed it and threw it in my backpack. That's how badly I wanted to get out of there.
My bad, Donna. Sorry for your loss, man. He's always there with you. Remember that. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, have you ever seen any apparitions like in front of you? Like,
this is a really good question, and I'm really glad that you ask it. So whenever you go, and the majority of the time, if you go back and you watch my videos, I would say 90% of the time, I'm completely by myself. Like I said, I'm not scared of the dark. I'm just scared of the shit that lurks in it. Your mind plays tricks on you. Every horror movie you've ever watched, when you go to turn a corner and it's your first time at that new location, you'll have a flash right in front of you. And there's been times that I've scared myself, and I think I've even caught it on tape a couple of times, where I either did see something. I know I've seen shadow people. There's especially in Billy's house. I was talking about Billy and Bandy. Sorry, there we go. Billy and Bandy. The second I said that, two orbs went right across the screen. Not one, not three, not four, but two. When I was talking about those two people that died there specifically. So you might consider that an apparition. I have seen a shadow figure. Do you remember the old Star Trek, the original series with Captain Kirk?
Yeah.
Okay, you know when they're using the teleporter, how it has that weird little gritty image, that special effect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I was looking back in one of my videos. Now, it was during the winter time, so I don't know if it was actual ice crystals, but I noticed when I was looking in the view display, I saw what looked like a human silhouette but it had that weird look to it. Now, like I said, even if that was the case, why would there be ice crystals down in a basement in the exact form of a human silhouette? I don't know.
Exactly. That's your question. I know I forgot what place was it. They like it was right behind you. I think it's at 4 minute. No, it was the 9 minutes, right? Jax? Have we seen that face right behind them? Remember you were walking down.
Okay, so I think that was
I'll be back. Okay.
barn, maybe? No, I forget which one it is. But okay, so you were standing there, okay, and you panned over to the windows a little bit, and then you panned back when you're talking. It was right there. That white face.
You saw that. You
Yes,
saw that.
I even paused on it. I paused it. Yes.
Okay. So you said barn. Yeah, that was an old one-room schoolhouse that has now been converted into a barn. You are totally right. That place bothers me more than any place to film, and I'm going to tell you why. This is going to be a weird answer. You know why it bothers me so much? Is because I feel perfectly comfortable there. I don't feel like I'm in physical danger, and it's too welcoming. That's the problem, because it wants me to come back.
In the barn setting than you did in Billy's house. You could see you were comfortable in the barn. In the schoolhouse, then you were at Billy's. You were on edge in Billy's, but you had a calmness.
Oh, on Billy's. Thank you for pointing that out. That's exactly, you can't fake that shit, because it is like I told you, I'm a receptor, and when I feel that energy at Billy's house, like I'm whispering, like my voice is cracking, like you can see a tension in my face, like I'm just waiting for somebody to come out and murk me with a knife. That barn, that's the problem.
It was weird because when you said you saw it, you said everybody, go back and see if you can see it. It took me a few times.
Yes.
Eli didn't see it at first. Mm-hmm. So once I saw it, I paused it and I gave Eli the time.
It was like, yeah.
It was like that. Stood right there. It was a second.
Yeah.
But it had a body.
Oh, I didn't see that. I felt it. Okay, so here's the thing that really bothers me about that place is when I leave. Sorry, I'm about to get choked up here. Every time I come back to my house or my apartment, that's when the party starts, because the camera's off. I'm not in their territory. I went and pissed them off in their own territory. And now they're going to come over here and make me feel uncomfortable in my own house. And that's why I burn that white sage. That's why I have those crystals. That's why I've been basically spiritually leveling up. All I can do is make myself stronger.
Yeah, it does.
Protect myself.
The easiest way I heard it explained to me when I found out, like, I've seen spirits my whole life. I thought it was crazy. And then when I got on YouTube and heard other people talking about it, I went, okay, I'm not alone. So I had someone explain it this way. They said it was sensitive. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm a sensitive person, but you don't got to bring that up. Okay. They're like, no. She goes, you're like a lighthouse. Your beacon, they come to it because you can hear them. You can see them. You can ask them what, you can feel what they're feeling. That's the easiest way it was ever explained to me. You're like a lighthouse. I'm like, but I didn't ask for this.
No, that's perfect.
No one ever does.
No, it just, like I said, man, you sounded exactly like what I was saying, that being a receptor, being a beacon, mm-hmm. You hear them, you see them, you empathize with them, you can feel what they're feeling, and they're attracted to that.
And I think in some ways it's a good way, because there's some spirits out there that really just want to get their story told. And then you've got those
true. That's how it was with Billy. So guys, this is going to sound really dark. I know that we've been talking about death. So guys, know that I'm saying this with a big level of sensitivity. I had an incident happen at work where one of my managers was suicidal, and we could tell, like we would see footsteps on the desk. We found a noose, like he was planning on how to hang himself, and he was going to do it at work because he knew that if he did it there, somebody was going to come in and find him. It's weird to think that way, but that's how a suicidal person thinks. So anyways, he ended up doing it, but he did it at his house. And unfortunately, his daughter found him. That poor thing, she's going to have daddy issues for the rest of her life. But because of that, the work policy was that we had to go to group counseling. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, So they brought a counselor in, and she explained everything. And she's like, does anyone have any questions or anything? And I told her, I said, well, I don't want to seem insensitive. I said, but I'm kind of new here. I've only been here for like 2 months. I never really got to meet the guy. We only talked a handful of times. And I said, but I do have a question. She's like, okay, what is that? I said, lately, he seemed so happy. He would always be on his phone, like playing puzzle games to keep from being inside of his head. Like he would come out and just talk to me randomly. Oh, where'd you get that burrito, Jason? That looks really good. I think I'm going to buy some for me and my family. I'm like, oh, just go up the road. Like he seemed super duper happy. And she said, that's exactly why. He had his exit strategy. He knew that he was going to kill himself, and he knew that he found a way out. And that's what genuinely made him happy. So having said that, the only reason why I told that story is that's what happened with Billy. Billy killed himself in that house. So going back to what Jax was saying, Billy was a pleasant spirit. He just wanted his story told. I think his family was into some bad shit. I think it affected him. I do know that it is demonic. So when they abandoned the house, Bandy came in, and I actually met the dude, as crazy as that sounds. Like I told you, I used to drive by that house every day. Well, he was homeless, and he was squatting there. He's like, hey, my name's Bandy. He's like, if you see me coming in and out, just please don't call the cops. And I'm like, nah, you're cool, dude. And I said, hey, dude, I just got a cheeseburger and some fries. They gave me some extra fries. Here you go. Never talked to him ever again. But Bandy, he was the bad part. So they were partying, they were doing drugs, they were doing whatever, and it was him and a couple other guys. And I guess Bandy started getting kind of spiritual and started talking about God. Well, the other two got really offended, and they literally beat him to death with their own hands. And because of the smell, and I know this is gross, but because of the smell, and there's a gym right across the street from it, and they noticed animals keeping, like coyotes, going in and out of there a lot more frequently. And then one day they kind of smelt something, and then they found his body down there. So when I would go there with Billy, Billy was a child. Billy committed suicide, but he was happy. He was fine with that. That was his decision to make. Bandy didn't have a choice, and he was beaten to death violently. Wow. Billy was a mean guy. He was an angry spirit. That's what it was. It was two angry spirits. That's the name of the video where you see the two orbs. Yep. So, Jax, you are spot on. You know what you're talking about.
Oh. Well, can I have some question? It's a question with him dying like that in that house, and his family went into some weird stuff, Could it be possible that with that evil, I'm not gonna call him a D word, but do you think that evil spirit mimics his death? It mimics his voice? Or do you think that's him?
I think it's possible. No, I think they do manipulate. So not to go down a rabbit hole, you just said something really, really great, and I'm glad that you said it. You didn't say demon, you said or evil spirit. There's a difference, and I want to tell you why. So I'm not going to get all preachy, but if you look in the Bible, there are only a certain amount of angels that fell. Just a certain amount. Those are demons. So not everything can be demonic. You can't take, who knows, you say 20,000 or 100,000 angels. Not everything in the world's demonic. There's only so many of them. So what is that? Like you said, what is that residual energy? I actually have an answer. So if you go back and you look in the book of Genesis, when the world was getting way delaced, you had the Nephilim. Now, I know there's a lot of question, and I don't pretend to be an expert on this, but the Nephilim were of angelic and human connection. So they were basically bastards is what they were. When they died, they couldn't go to hell or they couldn't ascend to heaven. And I think their negative energy, because they were going around destroying the whole earth, is residual. So I think a lot of these negative spirits could be the residual energy left over from the Nephilim. Because if you look at physics 101, you can neither create nor destroy energy. It just simply exists.
Good answer. Wow. Never heard about
pretty wild stuff, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. Look in the Bible. But let's say you go into haunted location, right? You also gotta look up if there's wild animals making the noise, or if there's your team members making the noise, and sometimes they don't tell you. They should always communicate with you, because, like you said, if you go on location, spirits are not always going to be in any other houses, any kind of houses. There could be, but there might not be. It might be your team members making the noise, or it could be like a dog on top of the roof, or whatever, a squirrel or a possum.
Yes.
You also got to look for that too, and with those people too. That's the most dangerous part. Is if you get attacked.
Well, there's always, like, if you're going out where there's homes are condemned, you're going to have cats, wild stray cats. You're going to have things like that. But I was talking to Eli, and I've explained it several times. When we go into houses to investigate, there are some spirits that don't realize they have passed on. So it's kind of like the movie The Others. They want to know what we're doing in their home.
Exactly. You are
So that's
100%
why
right.
I would always say, yeah, knock on the door. Can I please? Hi, my name is Jax. I'd like to come in and get your story. You know, some people, that's why they get these like negative feelings, because if someone's coming to my house and I'm seeing it, I'm be like, there's some stranger coming in my house. They still have their thoughts, their feelings, and everything. That's why I look at it.
You know, it's crazy that you say that, because that was kind of the deal with another good movie to point to was Sixth Sense. You know, Bruce Willis didn't realize that he was
that
dead.
good movie.
Yeah.
You know? And so the deal with that, like, I feel the same way. I filmed that video not too long ago. I have another video that I'm about to film this weekend. I was spiritually attacked. Like I told you, every time I leave that barn, I hate it because I know something bad is going to happen to me. And it's not sleep paralysis if you're awake. Like, I was awake, I was chilling, I was getting ready to go to bed, but I was not tired. And I just felt like two thumbs going right in here, right into my Adam's apple. But then it did feel like sleep paralysis in the sense that something was trying to possess me or hold me. And so, and this is weird. This is kind of a concern that I have. So every time that I pray and I say, in Jesus' name, I'm covered in the blood, it gets worse because it offends them. So basically, I'm just pissing them off even more. What's really scary is I feel like they're trying to get me to relax. So I'll relax. I won't say anything, but I'll start meditating and then it goes away. But I hope that's not them tricking me into thinking, yeah, just they're keeping me off my guard. That's exactly what it is. But funny what you said, Jax. It feels like the same thing. Like they just, these spirits or whatever, aliens, whatever they are, they wander into our homes and we're just totally caught off guard. Like, I know when you said that about the spirits, I felt that just a week ago because I was making my bed, getting ready to get in there, and then all of a sudden something's touching me and messing with me. It's very unsettling.
They're like, okay, you want to come in my house? Well, let me come to your house. I mean, like they like, okay, for instance, Dale told me one time, I said, when I make dinner, I always make more because I never know who's going to show up. No, the spirits in my house cannot eat it, but they can feed off the energy that's in the food.
That is very interesting.
Everything has an energy.
Yes.
So when I make food, I can hear my grandma in the back. She's been gone a long time, but I can hear her talking to me saying, Jackie, you better make enough. And I always make more than I should, you know?
See, well,
when I'm in chat, I'm gonna put a hashtag next to the thing I chat, so you know whether it's me or Eli. I'll put a double hashtag if it's me. And if
that's what Don asked you. Hey, question: can a spirit use a dog to warn a loved one a person is bad?
Absolutely. I absolutely think so. In some of my videos going back to animals and stuff, there's birds. Now, I get it. They're mud daubers. They're abandoned spots. But I mean, I've had birds fly like right in front of my face and hover to where I even turned around. It was like National Geographic. I just had this little bird hovering right in front of me, and it followed me all the way throughout the house. So to answer that question, yes, I do believe spirits are things that have moved on or passed on, or people with psychic abilities. Basically, they're like familiars. That's what they were called back in the old days. They're familiars, and they can be used by spirits for whatever reason.
That's why in Egyptian times the Egypts would worship cats, because cats were very, very in tune with everything. I have 2 cats, and I'm telling you, when they're staring out in the living room, they're seeing something. They're not just standing there at attention for nothing. I have an older cat and then I have a younger cat, and the younger cat's starting to see what the older cat is doing. And it's like, and then my dog, she'll just growl, and I'm like, you know, I mean, I know who's in my house, but she just growls and growls.
Wow.
Some nights I'm like, you know, I mean, she's a dog, but still, like dogs can tell when there's going to be a natural disaster before we can. Animals feel it. Horses do. Dogs, cat, they all feel it before we do. And children, I think, are the most. Children, I think, they're the most open. My grandson talks to the little boy that's in his bedroom, and he came out the other day. He said, "Hey, Nana, that little boy's in my room again." I said, "Well, go play with him." He talks to him. He says he's my friend.
Now, what do you now, Jax? How do you teach him how to handle that? Because you think about it, he goes to school and everything else, and have you ever? Does it bug him at school? Did he mess with him? I mean, do you give him protection?
I knew a long time when Daniel's dad died, he handled death very well, and he was only 3. Okay, he would walk up to people and go, "Hi, my name's Daniel. Is that your daddy?" Kid would say, "Yeah." He goes, "My daddy died. He had a bad heart." This boy handled death really, really well.
Wow.
Now he is 11, and he's very. He feels I believe he's a sensitive, because we'll be sitting in the living room and he'll say, "Nana, that lady over there wants to talk to you," and I'm like, "Okay." And then Quinn, my youngest one, plays with him. He's empath. He feels them. He feels that little boy wants some, like, this is no lie. You can ask Jason. He was standing in the kitchen. Quinn was in the bed, and I said, "Jason, would you tell that boy quit running in my house?" Jason goes, "There's nobody running, babe. He's in the bed asleep."
Wow.
He peeks around the couch, like me and my sister on the couch. He'll peek around. He's a blonde-haired little boy. He can't be more than 6 or 7. You know, I mean, he goes, and I can hear Quinn talking to him, and I know Quinn's the only one in the room, except for the other one. But Daniel's very sensitive. Eli. He's a very sensitive little boy. He never got to process death, but I think that's how he dealt with it. He was a little boy at 3 years old, sitting in the church singing Christmas songs during the funeral. And some lady walked up and said to him, "You should teach your son not to do this." And the preacher and the pastor says, "No, we need more people like him to be happy instead of crying, knowing his daddy's in a better place. He's not hurting anymore." The pastor let her have it. I was like, "Go on, preach." But kids feel different than adults feel. We kind of try to think. Wait, I didn't see that. But kids, they're open, wide open.
No, I think
Eli,
you're 100% right.
When you came back, Eli, you've seen more now than you've seen before.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you doubted what you used to see.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, "No, maybe I didn't see it." And now you're like, "Yeah, I've seen it." Jax, I'll be back. Okay.
Yeah. So going back to the house, we had like those cups on the shelves and stuff like that, and you went down there and one moved because you were communicating with them on the floor. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Twice on command. That was Billy's house. That was the basement. So I had a friend that I'd met at work, and he told me, he's like, "Jason," he's like, "just so that you know, you need to be careful with this ghost hunting stuff." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" His name was Reggie. We worked right next to each other. And he said, "When I was younger, I used to get into the occult." I said, "I really scared myself. I've seen some crazy stuff." And he says, "Bro, I can feel some stuff trying to be attached to you." He's like, "You really need to consider that." And I was just like, wow, just out of nowhere, this, tough thug looking dude was telling me that he used to deal with mysticism and how it changed his entire perspective and how he could feel things on me. And I was like, "All right, well, I appreciate that." I said, "Do you have any tips or anything you can do?" He's like, "Yeah, red solo cups." He's like, "You've played beer pong before, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I used to be in a fraternity." He's like, "What's something about a red solo cup that's always distinct? When it falls, it makes a distinct popping noise. Only red solo cups make that distinct popping noise." He said, "So you can be 3 rooms down in the hallway, and if one of those cups move or it falls, it's going to pop and you're going to know. And you're going to know immediately." Well, that's exactly what happened. If you looked in that video and I timestamped it, I'm facing towards a wall. I want to say it was the northwestern portion of the, that's exactly what it was. No, it was the northeast part. No, it was northwest part of the wall. And my light flickers. And I said, "Whoa, guys, did you see what my light just did?" And then you hear the cup pop as it hits the ground. It gets my attention. So I turn over there and I put my camera towards it. And then my light started flashing again. I'm like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "Guys, did you see that? My light just flashed."
Yeah.
And then without skipping a beat, I said, "If there's any spirits here, move that cup." And it went just like this.
Yep.
And I freaked out. Like I went through puberty again. Like my voice squeaked. Like I lost my breath. Like I was totally caught off guard.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, wow, move it again." Sure enough, bam. I mean, twice in a row on command. It's right there on camera. Guys, I implore you, go back and watch that. If you want to see proof of the paranormal, I caught it.
Um, before I read, well, Amber's question said she has a question. Amber's in prayer world. Question, Jason. What is the sweetest moment you had investigating?
When you say sweetest, do you mean coolest, or do you mean like a feeling of passion? Like, how do you mean sweetest? Because I'll
Well,
tell you what, I'll give you two examples.
okay,
Okay, so the sweetest was in that one room school that got converted into a barn, because I could feel the kids that were there. It was like what Jax was saying. It was just curious. There's a little kid there, and he was walking around. His spirit was attached to that school, and he was just kind of following me around, wondering what the heck I was doing. And you could tell it felt safe. It felt like it had been there by itself, that nobody had gone there. And the people that were going there were vandalizing it and destroying it. So, it didn't feel comfortable around them. But then this kid sees a man, my age, sees that I'm not going in there. I'm not disturbing the place. I'm not messing with it. I'm just documenting it. And it followed me around. And I felt very sweet. I felt like I comforted that child. So there's that moment. Or sweetest moment, like, oh man, this is sweet. I can't believe I caught this. Billy's house, because every single time it was the gift that just kept on giving. Every time I would go there, like, I know I wouldn't have to like really try to provoke anything. All I had to do was walk in there, chill for about 3 minutes, and then disembodied voices, all that stuff would just, it would come to me. Like, I almost had to put no effort into Billy's house. But like Jax was saying, it was so taxing because I had all this spirit energy on me trying to penetrate me. And it was because I'm an empath and I could feel what it was doing, that it was an emotional and spiritual drag on me. So those would be the two best examples that I could give. So making that ghost spirit of a child feel safe and feel nurtured, because I could tell it was scared. It felt like a scared, lost child that just found an adult that was going to take care of it. So that was when I felt in my heart the sweetest. But then also like, oh, this is really sweet. Billy's house. It was the gift that kept on giving, and now that one's been destroyed as well. So I hope I answered that.
I hate when you go into houses and like just for I watched the Frank Lloyd Wright house. That was a beautiful home.
Uh-huh.
They just went through and they destroyed it, tagged it up with graffiti, and they should have preserved that home, because that was the only one like it.
Yes.
Historical society
I'm
or
with you.
somebody should have went in there and like made it good.
Protected.
I mean, that was a one of a kind house.
Well, Jax, you know what it is? And my deal is maybe not with that scenario, but it's half and half. So like with Billy's house, everybody in the town of Hereford knew that place was haunted, that it was cursed. Nobody wanted to go there. So like with the Turner house, one, they just bulldozed it because it was pure evil. What people don't understand, it's still there. That spirit's still going to be there. It may be standing out alone in an empty field, but it's still there. And then they build over it, and then that new structure is now haunted by that former spirit. So they're not fixing the problem. But like with Billy's house, they were trying to sell the land, and it was right next to the railroad and right next to that grain silo. So they're just like, this house is so decrepit, no one's going to buy the house. So in that case, they just tear the house down, and then they sell the land. But then, like I said, whatever they build on top of that, now that structure is going to become haunted.
Yeah, I do believe that.
People don't get that.
Yeah, they think getting rid of the house is a problem, but it's not. And you know what?
No.
Even though when the house is even built, a new one, anywhere, we don't even know if the land's haunted or not and what it comes with.
Exactly. I agree.
Sorry,
you're 100% right, brother.
Yeah, internet knocked me out. It's not a good. It's not my good day either. Okay. Next question. So what do you think about spirit attachments?
Oh man, that is a loaded question. For some people, it's protection. For some people, it's family members that have passed on, and they stick around and they watch over that family member because, well, for instance, I'll tell you this. My dad, he's an ordained minister, but he's very skeptical. Like, he's read the Bible 100 bajillion times. He knows that spirits are real, but he has that old mentality of just ignore it, don't talk to it, don't acknowledge it, just stay away from it. fine, to each their own. That's cool. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. So 2 years ago, my mom and dad built their dream house, their absolute forever house. And my dad got a bunch of inheritance, like clocks and pianos and stuff like that from his family, because now he has this huge house that he can put all this stuff in.
Yeah.
Bro, I kid you not. The second I was talking to my dad about my paranormal channel, and it was funny because I showed him where that cup moved twice. He's like, Jason, you need to be careful with what you're doing, bro. And I'm like, hey, I appreciate it, Dad. But I was like, I'm onto something here. Well, anyways, he had this clock that never worked. And I want to say it was his grandfather's clock. And he had it for years and years and years. Never moved. Nothing ever happened. The second they built their brand new dream house, their forever home, the second he put it up on the shelf, all of a sudden it started working again. And it worked for one whole day and then it shut off. So that could be like a spirit attachment, like my great grandfather telling my dad, hey, you did it, bro. You're a success. You did what most people can't do. You built your dream house. But with other attachments, and I'm sorry for all these winded questions, y'all, winded answers. Sometimes it can be malevolent. It can be something trying to antagonize you. It can be something trying to bring you down. Jack said it perfectly. It's like they're testing you. They're pushing your buttons. You know, they're trying to spiritually wear you down so they can take all of your energy. Exactly. So it depends on intention. That's really what it boils down to, is intentions of whatever that being is trying to do.
They can follow you too as well. That's what Amber was saying. It's crazy because it could be just one little pin. It could be just a shirt. But the point, how would you get rid of an attachment? That's the biggest point.
I don't know, bro. I guess you'd either have to pray over it, but like I said, that can piss it off even more. I mean, at that point, you might have to call in a priest or an exorcist, people that are professionals on it. Like with me, I don't know. With me, I pray a lot. I pray and I meditate. Those are two totally different things.
Yeah.
So that 1-2 combo plus my crystal lamp and plus that white sage, I just now started messing with white sage. It works. White sage gets rid of negative energy, and it's kind of like it's not so much protective, but it creates a roadblock for negative energy, be it whatever that energy is. That's worked for me. So y'all are gonna have to find what works for you.
Okay. Well, I know. I mean, it might clear the energy from the house, like the bad energy, but it's always there though, no matter what. You might have to
you have to reuse it.
You might have to get a specialist too to take the spirit out of the house, and they probably use salt or something. Yep. But what I'll ask you, what kind of protection did you use, like a cross or maybe some stones for protection?
I used to when I was younger. I'm gonna go back and get another cross necklace. I loved that you brought that up about the white sage because I'm just now learning this. So I cleansed my apartment, and then everything was cool for about 2 days, and then I felt it come back, and it came back pissed, and I had to go and relight my sage, so I had to reapplicate it. You're 100% right. Blue sage and dragon's blood. Interesting.
Oh wow, that is interesting. Wow. I know I said.
What is dragon's blood?
I have no idea. Hey, come on, panel. Just kidding. Explain it. No. Hey, dude, I've seen a lot of pentagrams on your videos and stuff like that.
Yes.
How do you handle that? Is there like kind of like a energy to that? Because of course, anyone that goes into a property that's black, you know what I mean? You're gonna have that. Oh my God, scared. You know what I mean? But when you're in, let's say you're actually in there without devices, you can actually feel the spirits. You can smell them. You can smell. You can feel everything about them. Like, have you ever done it like that without equipment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll be right. You know what really, really scares me, Eli? Because going back to the human aspect is when I smell body odor. Because I don't know if that's a homeless person that's in there, or if that's the body odor of the person from when they died. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perfume. I don't smoke. I have allergy-induced asthma. So anytime I smell cigarette smoke, especially when it's fresh, but like I said, that's scary because I'm like, is that a homeless person? Or is that, did the person that used to live here, did they used to smoke? Yeah. So I don't know about that. Going back to what you said with the pentagrams, it always bothers me. And like I said, Billy's house, this one bothered me the most. When I went up to the 3rd floor, there was a big dream catcher. And this was like, it made me took pause. I was just like, it was someone spray painted a big dream catcher and it said dream on in hell. And I was like, whoa, that person has anger issues.
All right, wow. Amber said, I mainly use two types of uh, channeling spirits and doing readings.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had to read her before you did that. I think it was the other night I did. That's interesting to talk about that. Um,
Okay.
what do you think about Ouija boards, bro?
I don't like them, and I'll tell you why. Uh, so when I was young, going back to paranormal experiences, this is the most terrifying one. This is really when I started getting scared and talking to my parents. My friend Joel, who lived down the street, had a Ouija board. I mean, it's sad. You can go to Toys R Us, you can go to Walmart and pick these up, and it says, ages 6 to 12. I'm just like, what are you doing, people? So he had a Ouija board, and he took it out and he started messing with it. Now, as far as I can remember as a child, I never touched it. I never put my hands on it, but I kept on, Joel was my friend. I kept on going to his house, and every time I'd ever walk past that closet, I would get a really weird feeling. Well, anyways, I want to say a day or two goes by, and me and my brother have a sleepover at my house, and it's our friend Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, I started talking to them about the Ouija board, and then all of a sudden, you hear this tapping, like someone's tapping their fingernails up against the wall because it was a 2-story house. I shit you not, bro. Plain as day. It felt like something grabbed my legs and started dragging me towards the stairs. I vividly remember my brother and our friend Jared grabbing me one by each arm and pulling me. I flipped out. I fucking screamed bloody murder. My dad came running up the stairs. He's like, what happened? I'm like, man, something just tried to push me down the stairs. He's like, well, stop playing by the stairs. I was like, I wasn't playing by the stairs. Something drugged me there. He's like, Jason, just go to bed. So he goes downstairs, and the three of us were still awake, hanging out. And then same thing, you heard that same tapping noise, but it was downstairs on the fish tank. Well, it's funny, you can watch animals. So we went down there to see what was going on. All of the fish, every single one of them, there was like 13 of them. All of them were facing in one direction with their eyes just open, huge. Like it was almost like you had a remote control and you could control them. It was the oddest thing. So that is the one and only experience I've had with the Ouija board, and it was incredibly negative. I think when you do open those portals, you're doing it by choice, and the fact that you do it by choice makes it more dangerous because you're allowing it. You're saying, you're taunting it. I'm not scared of you. What are you going to do to me? And you're saying that to a spirit that's thousands and thousands of years old. Like, you better be careful when you do that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Okay, who's that? Okay. Wow, it's crazy. I mean, you don't mess with things like that,
Button on it.
I don't.
No, hell no. What's up, Big Ben? How's it going? Um, Next question. Um, I know you
Bring
went
it
to
to
the
me.
Nicholas Hustle speaks from the afterlife. You heard a lot of voices like "help me" and such like that. You going to speak to me about that house? It was
Um.
crazy.
Uh, with that one,
Okay, let it charge for a few minutes.
when people say help me, I think, like, I know, for instance, in Billy's house, I think he was probably drove crazy, and he was probably just wanting to wander around, just like, hey, help me. Can you help me? Can you listen to me? I need to talk to somebody. I need help. And I think that's what a lot of it is. Or like what Jax was saying, they're dead, but they don't know that they're dead, but they know something's going on. And so they're just like, can you help me? Can you tell me what's going on? And then if they're older spirits, I'm sitting here with this big old camera and all these digital devices, and they're probably wondering, what the heck is that? This dude's coming in here looking like a Borg and everything. They don't understand it.
Exactly.
So I think they're just, can you help me? Can you help me understand the situation? Is my best interpretation of what that means.
Well, I mean, as a spirit, when I was gone, I used to say help me too. I used to say I'm tired, help me, or maybe they're going through a rough time in that house and they're asking you
Yep.
for help, but they can't see
You're
you.
right.
It's just yeah. They think you're a spirit, but
Let-
yeah, they're trying to say, hey,
Mhm.
I'm over here, listen to me, and it's exhausting to
I'm
them.
with you.
Hey, Derek.
It is. And there's something I want to say really quick, Eli, that you just kind of talking about apparitions.
Yeah.
You said that that's tiring to them and it takes energy because everything is energy. So when you see an apparition, you better pay close attention because that spirit or whatever it is consumed a lot of energy to manifest itself physically to where you can see it. So they're sending you a message, and you better figure out what that message is.
Exactly. It could mean something's there with you that can harm you, or
Mm-hmm.
that means that he's ready to be moved on. And some people can't do it. You got to get a special person to actually move them on. You know, and or
That's
unless
right.
um
Procedure what? Something's what there?
oh yeah, I was gonna say So what do you think about? Have you done the Estes method?
Say that one more time.
Have you done the Estes method?
What is that? I'm not familiar with that.
It's where you're blindfolded and like you communicate with the spirits.
Oh God, that would be terrifying. I already do this stuff by myself. I don't know if I do the blindfold just for safety reasons, but you know what? I'll try that in my next video. I'll close my eyes, and then that way I can open them up if something happens. But I'll try that next time. Thank you for the idea. I appreciate that. So when you see that in the next video, know that that's you, Eli.
Oh yeah, okay, thanks, man. um, I know you deal with a lot of haunted dolls, don't you?
Yeah, I think with some of these older people, you know, when you go into older people's houses, like my grandmother was the same. They have a lot of collectibles, and I think that was just. I think it's a cultural thing. I think those older people that have passed on, for some reason back then, they all had doll collections. And they probably played with them, had attachments to them. Some of them they played with back when they were a little kid. Some of them they acquired when they're older. So I think that's why different feelings and emotions are attached to different dolls, because they had different experiences with them, or they had a child had an experience with the doll when it was a child, but then as a grown up, they bought this other doll and had a different experience with that. And I think that's why you get so many different things from so many different dolls. That's just my best guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, what's the definition for you as restless spirits?
Anxiety. I would say that they're anxious about something. I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Do you feel them at the property? Like that? Like they're being restless? I do. Like they're restless?
I do, because I am an empath, and I can feel that emotion. I can feel that anxiety is the best word. I can feel that anxiousness in them. And, you know, you got to realize some people are mentally disturbed. You know, it's an actual issue. You know, they're actually mentally insane. You got to think some of those spirits, they're no different. That could be the spirit left over from somebody that was mentally insane. And so they're restless. They don't know what to do. Not only were they, you know, burdened with being mentally insane while they were alive, but now they're a spirit that can't figure out how to pass on, and they were never mentally stable to begin with. So, I mean, you're just perpetuating problem after problem, and it gets so much for them to try to understand and comprehend. I think they just get really restless.
Yeah. There's another location you did. It's called the Abandoned Hotel. I was watching. Can you tell us a little bit more about that place? I think it's pretty interesting.
That was a total fluke. I totally took advantage of that situation. So I worked for a restoration company called the Amarillo Steam Team, and they would do any type of restoration whatsoever, but mainly our bread and butter was water damage. So like if there was a fire and then say like a flood system went off, we'd have to go and extract the water, clean the carpet, get all the moisture out of the wall, make sure that it didn't, you know, mold or mildew. Well, there was this, I'm trying to remember. It was either, you can go back in the video. I can't remember. It was either the Marriott or the Hilton, but it was in Wichita Falls, Texas. And it was a big, I want to say it was either, I can't remember. It was either a 4 or 7 story building, but they only had so many rooms that were left that people could sleep in. So us, the contractors, they would let us stay in those rooms rent free, because it was 100 miles away from, you know, my city, and we could actually stay there, work for 2 or 3 days, and then we'd switch out the shifts like that. You know what I mean? So it'd be rotating shifts. That way we weren't staying away from home for too long. So total fluke. It was a California king. awesome. I had internet, Wi-Fi, the whole bit. I mean, just that hotel room alone was probably the size of my entire apartment. Like it was a suite. It was nice. Literally, we were just there to do the restoration. They said, well, Jason, and this is when I got a grin on my face. This is when I knew I was going to make a video. They said, we have one room. They said, but it's the only room on the floor. So you're going to be there entirely by yourself. And I just started grinning. And Calvin, my supervisor, looked at me and he knew, because he knew that I did paranormal videos. And the lady's like, why are you smiling like that? I'm like, don't worry about it. Totally cool. I'm totally fine with that. So I go up there. I have this there must have been 30 to 40 rooms on that entire floor that I had completely to myself. So I just hopped out of the shower. I looked around and I was only going to get about 3 hours of sleep. And then I had to turn around and drive back to Amarillo. And I just knew, I'm like, if I don't film this right now, I will regret this for the rest of my life. I said, how many times will any person ever be told, hey, you can get this huge California King suite. You don't have to pay anything for it. And you get an entire level of the building to yourself. Wow. So I didn't have any equipment. I just picked up my phone and just started vlogging. I'll be honest with you. It felt weird being in a space that big all to myself. But I don't really think I caught any haunted vibes. I'll be honest with you on that one. I think it was just a really cool abandoned exploration. And that's what I did. I did a quick vlog because I knew that opportunity would probably never happen again.
Yeah. I can ask you a question. Have you ever been attacked on a location?
Yes, and also going back to wild animals. So if you go back to one of my older videos, it's called The Whispering Man. And basically, it was stupid. This is one of those learning moments. Don't ever walk off 3 miles into the woods by yourself. Always have a friend. It's just trust me on this one. I really screwed up. That was a rookie mistake. So my buddy Eder, we were supposed to film the day before and something didn't pan out. So it was the next day and I had the idea for the location in my mind. I'm like, man, there's this old truck out there. There's a windmill that got knocked out. Oh my God. I just thought I saw something. Okay. Sorry. So I went out there and was I nearly attacked? Yes. There were 3 coyotes stalking me. So again, I turn around, I'm out there, I'm by myself and it's cold. So you got to think animals out during the wintertime, that's when you're most likely going to hit a deer or hit another animal because the only way they can stay warm is by moving around. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you're out in the wilderness during the nighttime when it's cold, you are not alone. There are critters everywhere because the only way they can stay warm is by moving. So I look in the viewfinder or the view display of my camera. I see 6 glowing eyeballs staring at me.
Oh, wow.
I froze. So they say in those survival modes, like if you ever have to deal with a mountain lion or something like that, to, flare your arms out, make all these stupid noises and just basically act a fool so that you look bigger, sound bigger, and sound more intimidating. And you can actually catch me in that video and you can actually see the eyeballs of the coyotes. There's 3 of them stalking me. And I go and I'm like, I'm making an idiot out of myself. Damn. And I finally find this stick, and that stick wasn't going to do anything but piss them off. So I grabbed the stick and I just start making my way back. Well, by the time I actually get down to the actual path, it was kind of scary. They were doing a military move. They were trying to like go up on the ledge and then cut me off so I couldn't get back to my vehicle. Well, luckily enough, I was able to get past them fast enough and get on the road. And I could see them in the bushes, but cars kept on passing by. And when the cars were passing by, I guess the lights or their noise just kind of freaked them out. And I hauled ass to my truck and I got the hell out of there. Spiritually, I want to say attacked. Yeah, I would say I'd go back to that one time in Billy's basement where the cameras were off. It was a good video. They had actually physically knocked my baseball bat off of my backpack, which is, I tie that in a knot. That never happens. And they were messing with me and now they're like, hey, now that the camera's off, you're ours now. So there was that it happened. So, I mean, it gets real. And then also there's been times that I've gone to big locations and there were homeless people there and we had to dip out because we knew that there was probably about a good 6 of them squatting there and it was just me and Eder.
Well, I see one of your videos where a guy's tacking you with you were stuck in the bathroom but then you were going downstairs. He wouldn't stop chasing you. You look like a lunatic to me.
Oh,
Anyways.
that one was actually a short. That was I'll full disclosure. That was just a fun video that I made.
Oh, you know what to say? Like, damn.
Yeah.
You
No, that
amazing.
see, but it
awesome.
can get pretty crazy. That when he shoved that sword through the door, I'm not gonna lie, like that scream was real because we knew that it was gonna happen, but the sword went like right across. I mean, I'm like, damn, I'm lucky he didn't cut my nose off with that thing.
Man,
But no, that was just me and a friend having fun.
But you know what gives me nightmares? I'm not gonna lie. Was when that wheelchair finally hit that thing, went through it, the on the other side hit the wall, and I was like, "What the freak?" I would have said, "Screw you, I'm out of here." No way.
Oh, dude, it was a good time. That was probably the funnest video I've ever made, and eventually I will get back to that. But ever since I started doing these paranormal investigations and seeing that it's real, making short films has kind of just taken a back burner right now. Like I'm more interested in learning about these paranormal events and stuff like that.
That's true. That's true. Do you did you ever go to? I think you have a cemetery.
I don't think I did. No.
What do you think about that?
I want to, but I don't think that I have.
Okay. I know you guys passed one. I know on your video. You didn't actually go in there.
Probably. I've done nearly 100 videos now. It's hard for me to remember every single one of them.
Now, give me just go ahead and give me a scenario. How would you enter a cemetery and with show your respect and so on.
I would absolutely show respect. One, I mean, this is my community. I would be absolutely pissed if I went on YouTube and saw somebody in my community doing a bunch of stupid shit, on the gravestones of my family members. Like I would reach out and say something to them. I'd be like, hey, not cool. So with the cemetery, there's one, my friend Ben gave me an idea. He said, Jason, he said, it's really cool. He said the way that they set up basically it was a rich person, their mausoleum is they said they have these benches that you can sit on and you can actually play chess. He's like, and that was perfect. I was like, I get it. So Ben was like, so you wouldn't be being disrespectful. You would literally be sitting in front of their tomb playing chess. So obviously they don't want to be left alone. Obviously they want to be interacted with. So in a scenario like that, I absolutely would. But like burning candles or, pitting wax or doing something weird to somebody's grave, I would never do that. I might leave a trinket in respect, but that's something that, I mean, that's pretty touchy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I wouldn't do it. Falling through a grave and stuff like that. Nah, I mean, scared me half to death.
That's true. Now, I will say this. I do want to go to some of the older graves over in New Orleans because something they used to do, New Orleans is a bowl, so it floods. And they put these basically these cages around there. So if it ever does flood, that the bodies won't, come up and, they're not going to have a huge nasty mess where you have 100 bodies, just laying out there. But back in the olden days in medieval times, if people were like vampires or zombies or they had some sort of weird deal, a lot of times what it was is that it was rabies. People thought that they were possessed or something. What it was is the people had rabies and then they would get sick. They would get buried alive. They dug these shallow graves. They would get out of these shallow graves and start walking around. And people thought they were zombies, but all it was is they got buried alive and they have rabies. And then they got out of their shallow grave and started walking around again. But in some cases, people build those cages around there because they believed that dead people were coming back alive. So that's kind of something I want to look into. I kind of want to explore that a little bit.
How about especially mausoleums?
Yes. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get the little last bit of my iced coffee. This stuff is really good. I don't want to waste it. But I don't want to slurp in y'all's ears either.
I'll take a break for a sec. We're good. Good. Let's hear some slurping while we're at it. Come on, brother. Come on. That's the best part. Hold on.
We're good.
Down to the last drop.
My
God,
fiance
that was
hates
good.
that. She hates when I do that. She's like,
That was so
okay.
good. Thank you.
My grandkids will do that. I'm like, it's gone. No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. Dowsing rods. Just eat. I have not used dowsing rods,
I
but
was
I
gonna
do
say
want to
that.
try them because they have multiple purposes. People have used them to find minerals. People have used them to find water. People use them to communicate with spirits. That you can do so many things with them. So that is most definitely something I want to look into.
What's up, Crimson's Angel? Yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, okay. I was gonna watch this video of yours. It's called Her Face Melts. Yeah. It says paranormal ghost, creepy killer, crazy homeless man tries to kill us.
Hold on, give me through because I remember that my friend Tess helped me make the thumbnail before I know how to do thumbnails.
And I thought
I
someone
think I was
melted.
describing. Well, I was describing like a vision. Okay, going back to what you said about have I ever seen an apparition in front of me?
Yeah.
Sometimes your mind plays tricks on you. And I think what I was describing in that dream was a vision that I had. I had a vision and I was describing that vision or that dream where a woman was talking to me. And the second that she started talk, oh my God, I remember. Okay, I can't get into too many details. This is actually a personal situation that I'm still going through. So me and this friend, we've known each other for 7 years now. I mean, we've known each other for a long time. We've never met in person, but we've just interacted a lot, just like this on social media, to the point that we've been trying to hook up in real life. And a lot of people don't like that. She has some people in her life that are control freaks, and they know there ain't no control on this. So they don't want us to meet. Well, anyways, part of that dream that I was having was about that very situation, that every time she tries to talk to me, every time she tries to communicate with me, people are always trying to jump in the way and trying to prevent us from basically furthering the relationship.
Wow.
Well, she was telling me something in this dream. She was trying to warn me something. And the second she did, like her face started melting so that she couldn't talk and she couldn't communicate it to me. And then I woke up. I'm pretty sure that's, if I remember that was about 3 years ago. So I had to dig deep on that one.
Wow. Yes, I'm gonna watch it later. It looks very creepy.
That's another thing too, guys. Your dreams can tell you a lot about your paranormal experience as well, because that's your subconscious recording everything. So everything that I miss, like even what Jax was saying, I didn't know that there was a body attached to that face. All I saw was the face. I was ready to dip the hell out of there. But my subconscious, I guarantee you, my subconscious saw it. I believe you. I totally believe you.
I saw the face, but then when I paused it, I saw the shoulders and then it came down. And
Oh, that's creepy.
Show Eli, and I kept trying to pause it. I kept trying to pause it, and I finally got it where I saw you and you panned over. Boom! There was the face, and then I saw the shoulders outline go down. I was like,
hey, if you don't mind, you can send that to me. I'd like to see that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll get it and I'll timestamp it and I'll pause it.
Okay.
Now, Jason, you think spirits can visit you in your dreams?
Oh, I'm on the fence on that one because I've really been thinking about that a lot lately. So, and like I said, because of the situation that I'm going through, somebody is there are multiple people using their craft on me as we speak, which is why I'm spiritually leveling up and spiritually doing everything I can to make myself as strong as humanly possible. So the new Matrix, there's this perfect scene in the trailer where Neo is basically talking to a counselor. And he said, well, Doc, here's the problem. I'm having dreams, but they're more than dreams. So when you talk about that, okay, let's talk about astral projection. Let's talk about thought projection. So there's so many different aspects of it. It could be a spirit whispering in your ear while you're sleeping. It could be a spirit telepathically communicating with you. It could be another empath. It could be another psychic speaking to you when you're asleep, because whenever you're asleep, think about it, your body calms down. It starts getting rest. You hit that REM level of sleep. And so it could be easier for them to communicate with you from thousands of miles away when you're sleeping. So that's the only answer I can give you, Eli, because I'm currently looking into that as we speak, because I've been having dreams that are way more than dreams. Like when I wake up, I have like a makeup imprint on my chest. I'm finding long strands of hair on my body. and I live here alone. I don't have a roommate or a girlfriend here. Like, I'm smelling perfume when I walk into these rooms. I'm just like, whoa, something's going on here when I'm sleeping, and it's kind of freaking me out.
Crimson wants you to read that.
Okay. I believe the less afraid you are of spirits and demons, the less you will experience, as the majority of them only show more stuff to scare people. Okay, that I do agree with. So Crimson, that's where I'm also at. I'm learning that as we go. I'm by no shape or form of the imagination an expert on any of this. I'm just a regular guy that's analyzing things and telling you as I see them. And you're right. So like with these projections, like what me and Eli were just talking about, I'm waking up in the middle of the night and there's this woman there. And used to, it would scare me and I'd kind of, be taking it back a little bit. Now it doesn't bother me. And you're 100% right. Now that I don't let it bother me, now that I don't let it concern me, they can't intimidate me, because that's what they try to do. They try to intimidate you to get that energy spike inside of you, because they're psychic vampires and they're trying to feed off of that energy. So they try to excite you to get you to, bolster up, because that gives them more to feed off of.
Exactly. What do you think? Okay, you know how everybody has a shadow, right? I was thinking about this the other day, well, a couple of days ago. Okay, we all have a shadow. Even our wardrobe has a shadow or whatever. Okay, do you think that's as a humans only? Do you think that's our spirits that are following us? Do you think they die? I know it's gonna die with us, but because we're not moving around no more. But do you think that's our spirits?
I've heard that. I've heard a lot of like Native Americans make gestures like that. They said that that's also possible. Now, not trying to go off on a rabbit hole, but Native Americans believed in visitors as well, be it either extraterrestrial, be it spiritual, be it kind of like the stuff that you were saying. Well, if you think about Indians, when Indians would greet you, they would greet you like this. They would go, "How?" And you know why? Because they were looking on the inside of whatever that person or creature or visitor's hand. If it had fingerprints, it was human. It was from this earth. But if there were no fingerprints, basically, this is our lot number. This is how God keeps track of us. But if it was blank, then they would know that they were speaking to something from the spirit realm. So sorry, I know that's kind of a totally weird thing, but with the shadow, man, I don't know. It could be, buddy. I would really have to look into that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let me see. What kind of? I know you're talking about your equipment and stuff like that. Um, how long does it take you to set up your equipment? I mean, you probably don't have. Do you have a stand and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I have a mini tripod, like for vlogging, like the handheld ones. But the thing that's also cool is I can set it up on a shelf, and I have a there's a specific name. It's like a little keychain, and I can put a little watch battery in there. So say instead of how most YouTubers, you'll sit there and see them say, "Hey guys, I'm setting up my camera," and you can like see up their nose and stuff. Well, I can actually stand back, hit this button, a fob. It's a fob. That's what it's called. And so say if I wanted to stand back and look super professional, instead of having my face all up in there, I can hit that fob and it'll make it look more professional. So with that, usually I try to have all my stuff charged and ready to go by the time I get there. And what I'll do when I'm on the way to location, I'll use the cigarette lighter in my truck just to make sure that everything's at 100% charged, that the flashlight's at 100, that the phone or the camera is on 100. If I have to break my tablet out, that has 100% on it. So to set up entirely, not that long. The longest part of the setup is honestly doing the walkthrough. So the first time I went to Billy's house, I almost broke my own rules, because they're saying, "Man, Jason, to make it more exciting, you should just go in there not knowing what's going to happen." And I really thought about doing it, and something inside of me was telling me, "Don't do it, don't do it." So I went ahead and I did the walkthrough. Well, there is a huge 4-foot by 4-foot hole in the floor of the living room, which dropped down 7 feet onto a sharp sheet metal. So if I didn't go through and do that walkthrough, I would have fell right through there, and I probably, who knows what would have happened. So that's also part of setting up, is doing a walkthrough, having an exit, an exit strategy, that if something does go wrong, how am I going to get out of here? So that's all a part of setting up. So that can usually take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes.
Cool. Do you think your house is haunted? I know that you're looking at to your left side.
No, what it is with they're called multi-unit structures. So if you have a duplex, a triplex, if you live in an apartment complex like I do, this is something that I experienced. I don't have bad juju here. Like there's nothing bad that is here in this apartment. But what happens is I think, this is an older apartment complex. I know that, people have died here. I think that spirits might go to wandering. I think that they might go from one apartment and not knowing it, just translucently, they're walking through walls, just being curious, seeing what's going on. But then eventually they go back to their original source. So I'll call them like visitors, or I'll call them like, the little lost kids. They may wander around in my apartment for a minute, but they don't stay here because they're not welcomed here.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this night, guys. Ron, what's up, dude? Why do you show up? I don't got eyeliner on, dude. Is there any questions that you guys want to say to Jason, or maybe you want to come over for half an hour, hang out with him? We call this a night, or
I'm pretty cool to call it a night. I mean, I'll take a couple questions, but I just remembered something that I wanted to say to you, Eli. Something interesting is like, when you go to a friend's house and you play with their animals, and then you go back to your house and your animals smell those animals on you. I've had that happen to me with locations. So there was one time that I went over to the Turner house, but then I ended up filming at the abandoned school, and the spirits at the school could feel the spirits that were on me from the other house. So that's something that you also want to look out for. Not too many people talk about that.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that school. Was there any kid spirits there?
Yeah, I think you were off screen or you were doing something when me and Jax were talking about this.
Yeah,
I was asked what was one of the sweetest moments, and I broke it down into two different answers. There was a kid spirit, and it felt like it was lost. Like I could just empathically feel, when you find a kid that's lost and they see an adult and they're just like, oh my God, somebody found me.
Yeah.
That I felt, and I felt good because I could tell that child felt secure that I was there, because I was looking around, but I wasn't bringing any destruction. I wasn't using any graffiti. I wasn't doing anything like that. And you could tell that child felt very secure around me. It was kind of weird because I felt that it did follow me home, but it never stuck around, and it was not malicious in any way.
Oh, nice. Cool. It's sad when that happens, I think this is our happiest moment.
It is.
Jax, would you like to say anything before we end this wonderful live stream?
No.
Thank you.
I keep her dropped out 4 times.
Going.
It's vexing me.
Oh, here goes. We got one more question. Here we go.
I see it. What is the scariest location you've ever investigated? There's multiple answers. So there's this huge abandoned truck stop out at the edge of town. That's the most terrifying to me. And it has this long corridor where you can see people's clothes, or where they've used the bathroom, where you can see cans of food. That is the scariest in terms of when I go there, and I've never gone there by myself, and I never will, is am I going to be physically attacked by multiple people? Are there going to be 6 or 7 homeless people in there that are high or pissed off, or maybe they have some sort of mental disorder? Exactly. Am I going to get physically attacked? Spiritually and ghost wise, Billy's house and the Turner's house. Maybe the Turner house more, because I could never be in there by myself. I can never muster it. Like even when I would just dip in and out for a few minutes. Billy's house, like even Jax was saying, when I'm in there, my voice changes, my demeanor changes, everything changes. So different places are going to scare you on different levels. That would be my best answer.
Yeah. So, exactly. And especially like it don't have to be about spirits. It could be, about seeing your own personal experiences that you can't actually share on the camera.
It's true. No, I know exactly. And there's some things that I've gone through. And like I said, when the camera turns off, that's when they really want to start partying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm so ready to get the hell out of there and come home and edit and, post it to Twitter, tag all of you guys in it. I'm on a mission at that point. But it's scary because they know when the camera's on and they know when you turn it off.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you coming on, telling your story and everything else. Would you would like to share your next location where you're going to, or is that just private?
It's a friend's location. I can tell you it's out in the country. It's going to be another trailer house. I don't think it's going to be as interesting as the other trailer house that I filmed in, but his family lived there and they moved out. So he ended up turning it into a big chicken coop because they have a hatchery out there now. But there's still a bunch of possessions in there. Well, he said that he went in there to go grab some things because there's some, inherited like toys and stuff from when he was a kid that he still wants to keep. And he said that when he went in there's a bunch of books and magazines on the floor, and it literally looked like somebody just walked by and hit it with their foot. Well, he's a country boy. Like, he knows to look like, was that a rat? Was that a raccoon? And he said that it wasn't anything like that it wasn't a rat or a raccoon or anything like that. So probably this weekend, I'll probably go and film there and see what's what. There's a lot of toys there. So that'll be interesting to see if there's any children that are attached to those toys.
Okay, cool, nice. Oh man, toys. Do you remember that? Real quick, do you use cat balls?
No, but I want to. That's something that I'm going to start looking into because, like, even the digital ones are the ones with the little bells in them because it's the same thing with noise. Like, I don't have to visually see it. I can be, on the first floor and I can hear one of those things going off on the second floor. So I'm definitely going to get some of those.
Okay. How about the flashlight method?
It's happened on accident. Like I said, whenever that cup moved twice on command, my battery was fully at charge. Like, it goes red when it's about to die, but it's green when it's lit up at 100%. And it was green and it just started, flickering like this. We've all seen flickering lights. So in that video, that happened twice. And then, like I said, it flickered right before it moved the cup twice. So there is something to the flashlight method. There is something there.
Wow, it's crazy. Well, guys, Jason, thanks for coming up and sharing your experiences. And
no problem.
Would you, if you don't mind staying a little bit after this? Jax, do you have anything to say before we shut this down?
Good night, guys, and thank you for stopping on by. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Like I was saying, stay positive and thank you for believing in our journey. And I'll see you guys then. Well, actually, see you guys Monday. So.
What are you doing, boy?
All right, see you later, guys.
See you later.
I don't know. Did it again. I have issues. There goes Ken. What is wrong?